Run it up, then run it back. Run it up, then run it back. Run it up.
Good Wednesday morning. Wow. Welcome to Run It Back on FanDuel TV.
Feeling it.
You know what? Let's start with Lou Williams on the end. Are you feeling good this morning?
I'm having an amazing morning. How are you guys doing?
This is weird. Chandler's having
Let's
his
go.
normal morning. Thanks for joining us.
It's a party under the desk.
Something going on under the desk. And Shams Charania, of course, the classy one, joining us from his castle. We're getting right into it because it's that time of the year. You know what time of the year it is. It's cryptic tweet time. Lakers, Hawks. Hawks handle the Lakers 138-122.
Hey.
They had lost 4 straight, by the way, going into this one. There was no AD.
Jalen
Trae Young,
Johnson.
26. There. Oh, yeah, your
Most
guy.
improved.
DeJounte with 24-9-4. LeBron had 29-8. Reeves was there. He had 28 points. I know he's gotten a lot of heat lately. They've lost back-to-back now to the Rockets and the Hawks. They're officially under 500 and a half game from being outside the play-in. Where do we start?
Well, losses like this put more panic and pressure on the front office to make a move, and it just puts more frustration with the guys, as we're going to get to with all the cryptic tweets and comments that we're going to have to break down here. But these aren't good losses, and then you can say it's no AD, and he does change the dynamic of this team's defense, but I think they're starting to realize that this team, as is, it's not enough. It's not enough to compete. It's not enough to win. They're horrible defensively. They're not good on back-to-backs. They have no energy. They have no guys that come out and just play hard. And these are 2 really, really big, glaring losses to the Rockets and then now the Hawks. So I think this is honestly putting the things in perspective with the front office, with Pelinka, that like, okay, I don't know, all the rumors are swirling, DeJounte Murray, Levine, anybody. It's time to make a move because this team, as is not a contender in this season.
Chandler, I'm disappointed you didn't realize what was happening here.
What is that?
Houston and Atlanta, back-to-back.
Oh, got it.
They were outside having a good time. These are teams that they thought that they can win, they can beat with their eyes closed and give themselves an opportunity to win games. And at the same time, have some fun on the road. But they also got to understand, anytime you're the Lakers and you're coming into town, you're marked and you're targeted, and these are big wins for teams like this, and they got caught slipping both games.
Both games. We're going to work backwards on this one with the LeBron stuff. So we will start with the tweet, which was posted, 2:26 a.m. Eastern time, when you're doing your best thinking. And here it is.
That's the Lobos.
Piece of art. It's an hourglass, and the time is a-ticking. It's very on brand for LeBron James. So let's start with that. If you see this, and we'll get to his actual comments that he had after the game, but this is just
it
more
a chess piece? Is it?
No,
that's
an hourglass.
That's an hourglass. That means time's up.
Like days of our lives.
Time's up.
Just why? Why?
You know why.
You know why.
He wants some moving.
But didn't we do this? Isn't this the team we did this for last time?
Well, and it worked for them last time, too, and I think that's what they're leaning on. Is they had the struggles last year, they made big changes, and they think they can just, kind of do that again. But I think you see the teams are continuing to get better in the Western Conference. You have these 2 rising teams with Minnesota and Oklahoma City. You have these 2 vet teams with the Clippers and the Nuggets, and the Suns are starting to figure it out. So it's getting time is ticking for them, and the Lakers are in a win-now situation always, and now their best player and their whole franchise is tweeting something like that. It's something's happening. Maybe Shams knows.
Yeah, we'll get to that because he did actually say words. Use your words. That's what we always tell people, Shams. Should we do we're going to play the words first, and then I want to hear what you think is on the horizon for this Lakers team. But this is immediately after the game, him speaking about it.
We could, on any given night, beat any team in the NBA. And then on any given night, we get our ass kicked by any team in the NBA. That's just what's our record?
One game under 500 is what we've seen.
Under 500?
One game under 500.
Yeah, what, 24-25? That's where we are.
He said one game like he was confused that he knew the exact record.
I know, of course he did. He knows what's going on at all times. But let me ask you, you've said the words. You've got some young dudes on that team. They hear it, obviously. And then you post later. It's like, who's that for at that point?
He looked frustrated last night in Atlanta. It was one particular play I can remember. He had a chase down block, big effort play, only for Atlanta to get the rebound and just lay it back up. Nobody had trailed him down on a defensive end. Those plays like that, I feel like frustrates him, especially at the stage of his career and having so many young players on the floor. He's probably feeling like the effort isn't there. You know, if you can go out and get your ass kicked by anybody, like he said, on any given night in the league. But if the effort isn't there, then let's get him out of here.
And again, this isn't Anthony Davis didn't play, and he does change their defense, but he's only missed 3 games. So this isn't like, oh, this
Right.
team's miserable without him. A lot of these losses are with Anthony Davis, who is an all-world talent, who is an all-defensive team. So there's more issues than just Anthony Davis's health, LeBron's age. This team collectively is not good, and they have to make a change. They have to do something differently. And again, we go back to the energy thing. LeBron can't do it all. He's 39 years old. He can't be the guy that's, you know, setting everyone up, scoring, he's doing everything. These other guys, the Ruiz, the Vanderbilts, these guys have to be giving more, and they have to be fully healthy to have a chance. But I can't see anything else other than a move to be made here ASAP.
Potential trades. I don't know, Darvin Ham on the hot seat. Shams, here we go. We've got a few days left before the trade deadline. What are they considering?
The Lakers have been consistently inconsistent. You see it in their record, and we've talked about the disconnect that exists within that locker room. Darvin Ham, it doesn't seem like that's really gone away. They have not made a coaching change. I think when you look at it, the lineup discourse has continued, and so when you look at the roster, you think about what tweaks you could make. They really have 2 options that they can go for right now. So you either stand pat and you decide that this is the team that's got to figure it out, or you feel like there's a move that you can make that can take you to the next level and you make tweaks to the roster. That's what's easiest. That's what's probably the route that you're looking at if you're the Lakers. Zach LaVine is a player they've had interest in, but that 3 years, $140 million after this season just makes it somewhat unpalatable for the Lakers. So that's why DeJounte Murray, he's going to continue to emerge as the top target for the Lakers from what I'm told. The sides, I expect talks to resume before the deadline next Thursday. But then even beyond that, you think about other options. Another scenario to keep an eye on, and players that the Lakers do have interest in, I'm told, is 3 guys from the Nets. That's Dorian Finney-Smith, Spencer Dinwiddie, Royce O'Neal. If you can get a guard and some wing depth in your rotation, in your backcourt, in your front court, I think that's an avenue the Lakers could look into. Guys that can play 3-and-D and play multiple positions. But this team is 24-25. They're 4 games out of the 6th seed. They're in the play-in right now. So this is a team that, just like last season, you're looking at as a potential roster that could have some shuffling.
When you say those names too, I love Dorian Finney-Smith, but he's not the answer to this. They have guys like a Cam Reddish, a Vanderbilt. He's more polished than those guys, but I like Spencer Dinwiddie. I like someone like that can come and that can relieve pressure, that can go get buckets, that can have 30 points, not be LeBron, not be Anthony Davis. So when you say those names, to me, it's got to be an impact player like Zach LaVine, Murray. Spencer Dinwiddie helps, but even he doesn't really push the needle to me.
I agree. It's just more of the same.
Yeah.
More of the same. Look, the DeJounte Murray, that's the lingering name. We'll see what happens come trade deadline. But he and D'Lo were seen chatting after this game. During the game, however, Hawks fans with a little message to D'Angelo Russell.
He just tells all this?
Oh my God.
I know.
It's unbelievable.
That's so
It's
mean. What?
That really happened.
I've never.
For the 2
clear.
people that are rumored to get traded to.
I've never experienced anything like that before.
What happens
Especially
if
in
that's what
Atlanta.
happens?
It's like their student section.
If I'm Atlanta, I don't even waste my time with bringing that type of attention to my team at this
Can't
point.
bring D'Lo in now.
But
that changes everything for them.
especially if you're D'Lo now, you can't
Oh.
get anywhere
I
but
don't
here.
want to be nowhere near this. If I'm D'Angelo Russell, I don't want to be anywhere near this. Come on,
This
ATL.
felt like a college student
did.
section chanting
Come
to the
on,
other
ATL.
team's player that we don't want you or overrated or
gotta-
jingling the keys.
By the way, overrated seems less mean than
Yeah, or
we don't want you.
scoreboard.
That makes me sad, man.
That is rude.
That makes me sad because narratives are crazy. D'Angelo Russell is a very talented player in
Yeah.
this league that can help a lot of teams win basketball games. The Lakers are just not his fit. I hope he finds somewhere that works out for him. And like he said to the media, at some point y'all got to talk about me making shots.
Right.
You know, so they're trying to make him the scapegoat, trying to make him the fall guy. I don't like this look for it.
And he is playing really well, but I don't know if Atlanta also is a fit for him. Like, D'Angelo
No, they
Russell,
shouldn't.
Trey
Oh, no.
Young. Like, it doesn't really make sense for them to do it either. But now
No more ball dominant
you
guards for
Get it.
Atlanta.
That's a weird situation. Not like fans have any control, but like the front office, they don't care that the fans don't want him. They're going to do what they think is best for the teams. That would be a little uncomfy.
But if you're the
for
front
Steve-O.
office, especially a new front office in Atlanta, you want to make decisions that you feel like your fan base is going to be able to get behind. I don't think now you even entertain this.
So you're telling me
Yeah.
that tiny section of humans could have completely killed a trade that potentially might have been on the
That would change the whole game,
Absolutely.
though, for fans and fan bases. They could literally chant things that have it happen. I don't think the front office
This
of
is
Atlanta
because this
cares.
is similar to what the Clippers are trying to do with the wall. You're trying to have a particular fan base there for you. That's Atlanta's 6-man section, and they're considered the section for all of the hype. And if that's their message moving forward for this particular player, I don't think you entertain this if you're the Atlanta Hawks.
There
Like I
was a
said,
lot.
especially because they have new ownership. They're still in the space of trying to make sure this, especially in a city like Atlanta, where everybody's transplants and not really from Atlanta, you want to get this fan base behind you. So if you're doing this, I don't.
So what if they chanted, "We want Reeves"? Do you think they circle back on the Reeves and give the fans what they want?
I mean, that's awesome. If it becomes that easy.
Yeah.
Wow.
I might start buying season tickets
I
then
might
and
start
start
going to
chanting.
games
I mean,
and stuff.
that's a real fan interaction, right?
It was so clear. Sometimes the chants aren't clear. That one was very clear.
Yeah, that sucks.
There was a lot of weird drama around this game for no reason. So before this game, the Lakers post, their starting lineup as they do. Christian Wood, who did not start, tweeted, "LOL." God, I love that. He later said he intended to tweet.
Should queef.
No, he didn't. Another post, but mistakenly tweeted LOL.
We're still getting put off the air. It's so-
I got so many issues with this. Number one, why are you on your phone?
Why are you on
why
your
are you even on Twitter right before a game? Clearly, this dude's not focused. And right when it couldn't go worst for the Lakers, let's have some drama from the 9th man on the roster.
Also-
It's Salty's not starting. And then backtrack and act like it was something else when everyone knows you're lying and everyone knows that's what it was. If you tweet it, stand on it. Don't be passive aggressive. Stand on your business, Michelle.
Stand on your business.
Stand on your beeswax and claim it. You tweeted it. We all know you're lying now, and your team and your agent convinced you to say it was a mistake. Stop. This is so petty.
Can I also just say one thing, pet peeve? I hate LOL.
Really?
If somebody texts me that, it's like, just don't text me ever again.
Why?
I just hate it.
I've definitely
Laugh out
texted you
loud. Really?
LOL. What about you? Would you rather
Yeah,
ha ha
for
ha?
everyone in my ear, Conrad, who's saying I've texted you LOL, just know I hated you in that moment. And
What do you do? You like the
again.
crying laughing face?
Or
You
just,
like,
I wrote like haha or crying laughing face.
I'm texting you LOL every
Yeah,
day
I know,
from
I
here on
should've
out.
said that. I should. There was no AD last night. I know it should not matter that big a deal. But Shams, what is the latest on his injury?
Like Chandler said, Anthony Davis only missed a few games this year. I think a lot of it has been maintenance. Him and LeBron James, they've been healthy. And that's the other part about this Lakers season. Last year, at this time, both LeBron James and Anthony Davis had missed significant time, weeks at a time. This year, they've both been healthy. You have both of them missing about a handful of games, and still the Lakers are one game under 500. I don't get the sense that this is anything long-term for Anthony Davis, but this is something, he's got a couple different issues here, right? The groin, the hip. He's managing a foot issue, Achilles soreness as well. So there are multiple things Anthony Davis is battling through. He's playing through. He's playing at a high level. So is LeBron James. And yet still, the Lakers find themselves one game under 500.
That's tough.
When it rains, it pours.
It's a long list of ailments.
Again, you can't just point to this. Though.
Absolutely
like, this team is in mayhem.
You're
with
wasting
the,
a good AD year.
Yeah.
That's what's going on.
and a great LeBron year.
Exactly. Pacers, Celtics, that happened. Celtics holding them off in Boston, 129-124. They're pretty good at home. All 5 starters, 17 or more points. Tatum with 37-7. Porzingis, 17-12. Siakam, all right, 23-6. And we got to see Tyrese Halliburton only for 22 minutes, but he had 13-10. The season series is over now. Boston won that 3-2. Pacers have played the Celtics about as well as anybody else could in the Eastern Conference. Joe Mazzulla had this to say about them after the game.
I felt like we played hard. I just didn't think we executed, and they put a ton of pressure with your offense. And so we'll watch them all. But 19 offensive rebounds. But I would say a few of them were effort plays for sure. But the rest of them was a byproduct of their motion offense and us trying to be in shifts and constantly moving us. And then that team, that's a hard playing team. Damn.
It's like he was thinking out loud at the last part. Are they that, there's always that team that no one wants to face. Are they them?
I mean, I don't think so. When you look at the Eastern Conference, you see the rise of the Knicks, you see how hot the Cavs can get and healthy they can get. I mean, I think they do play at a different speed than most teams. They play up and down. They shoot a lot of threes. They have a stud point guard that can have that balanced attack and slow it down, play a lot of pick and roll. And clearly they have success against the Bucks, and they play the Celtics tough, and they play hard. Carlisle's offensive system has always been great. A lot of spacing, a lot of transition, a lot of drive and kick threes. So, I mean, I think the Celtics, they tried every way in their power to give this game up at the end of the game last night, and the Pacers do play hard. But there's not going to be an easy out for anybody this year in the Eastern Conference.
Fun.
I mean, you could look at an Orlando Magic team as the 8th seed, and they're not just going to lay down. So I think I love the depth. I feel like for the last 10 years, the West has been better than the East. This year, the East's pretty balanced.
I feel like I'm more excited about the Eastern Conference in this moment. Could change, but it feels like that right now. Halliburton was back, as we mentioned. He had missed the 13 games and was asked about the threshold rule about awards. I think it's a stupid rule, is the quote. I memorized it. By the way, he stands to make an extra $41 million if he makes all NBA.
You better play some games.
That's a lot.
Stupid or not, you better reach that 65.
Drag my body onto the court, make it happen. Lou, is he right? Is it stupid?
I'm going to have to agree with him. I think the NBA, they're trying to do diligence in figuring out a way to curve the narrative around load management, all these things. They've implemented the in-season tournament, implemented the 65-game threshold. They're even saying publicly load management doesn't help with anything. And so they're trying to figure out how to get ahead of this storm, because the fans hate this whole load management thing. I think it's a stupid rule. Chandler and I have always had this conversation. What happens if a guy plays 64 games? Is he not as worthy for the MVP as a guy that plays 65 games? Is it a one-game difference in being eligible for that? So,
is there a number that you would be comfortable with? Or not?
No,
you just don't want a threshold?
I don't want a threshold, because
I don't like the word threshold.
Then you start, then it's a reverse effect. You start putting guys out on the floor that really can't play, that physically may not be able to play, but because of that, they're going to try to go out there and play 5 or 6 minutes where they can be eligible. So that puts you in a position where you're not getting the maximum effort, and that's what ultimately this is about.
Yeah, I think there's situations where this is going to seem stupid, and it's new, right? There's different scenarios where I think they're going to change the in-season tournament and make, bigger pools, more games, and so there's less draws, and you don't have to do the point differential. I think there's going to be changes along the way, and this is something the NBA is trying to do to limit load management and guys resting. And I don't think there's a way to fully do that. Like Lou just said, there's going to be, okay, you want to give me that? Halliburton's just going to start the game, jump ball, and he's going to foul somebody like they do in the All-Star game to say they played in the All-Star game. Thanks, Lou.
You're welcome, brother.
So there's always going to be certain situations, and we're going to talk about it next with Joel. That's another situation where he wasn't himself last night, and because of this threshold, he went out there and he looked horrible, and he played and he wasn't moving the right way. So there is some real issues with this, because now. And then he goes out, leaves the game in the fourth quarter. So now instead of missing 3 or 4 games, now he could miss 3 or 4 weeks because he's trying to reach the 65-game minimum. So there is some real issues with this.
I mean, there should be some floor, though, right? Because you can't have a guy that plays like half the games and then he's eligible.
Yeah, but that's just up to the voters to decide. Again, like Lou said, if Joel plays 64 games and Jokic plays 66, he gets the MVP. That's bullshit.
No, I do agree in that stuff, but that is very extreme. Like you guys.
But it's going to happen, and then people are going to look at it and be like, "Oh, this guy didn't make this or this, and he lost $40 million because he was actually sick."
Is this the first year that this rule has been implemented, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and look what we're dealing with. We're talking about a guy that we know for sure is supposed to be an MVP finalist, going to be in that conversation, and he's 5 games away from being ineligible, and he has a realistic injury.
Right.
So how do we even get behind it?
And then it's selfish, because then you're just playing and you're ruining the team's flow because you're trying to play, you're trying to get through it. There is going to be a lot of issues with this new rule in particular.
We've talked a lot about the Boston bench. That's obviously going to be an issue. Maybe it's not. You guys can tell me. But they only got 16 points from them yesterday, and we still have a whole second half of the season and the playoffs. How concerned are you?
Who do they go find that's going to get them over the hump? That's gonna come off the bench. I think at this point, this is just the MO of this team. They're top heavy, and that's how they've been trained. I think that's how they're equipped to play the game, and it's worked for them. They got to the finals with this same group. they're going to be in the mix again with this same group. So I don't think they go out and find anybody that makes their bench a little stronger that gets them over the hump. And so any other team, I would say it wouldn't work. But for them, they've shown years and years that they're 7 deep and they're cool with it.
Yeah, it's no secret that their depth is their issue. Their starting lineup's unbelievable. They need to stay healthy because they're a team that can't afford an injury. The Clippers, they can. They're deep. They have the luxury of having the Norman Powells off the bench. Sure, would I love to see Jordan Clarkson here, coming off the bench, and Malik Monk of that type, but that's probably not possible. So it is what it is. They have to continue to go to Hauser, Pritchard, guys like that, and get a lot of production from their starting lineup because that is their bread and butter, and that's what's going to win them a championship.
But does it need to be that way, Shams? Is there a world in which the Celtics are trying to figure out something to fortify what they have?
The Celtics are definitely trying. I think they have a couple avenues. You can either go the trade route. They have a disabled player exception as well at around $6.2 million they can use in a trade. The problem with the Celtics is they're top 6, 7 deep. I mean, clearly top heavy. You think about their top 6 guys, probably the best 6 in terms of depth in the league. But beyond that, on their bench, they don't have the salaries to go match out there to go get a difference-making player that might be making $18, $20 million. So you're looking at a disabled player exception at $6.2 million. You can use a few other guys on the bench in terms of salary matching. But I could also see them being a force in the buyout market. You always see that after March 1. Could they be a player for those guys? But they do have picks they can trade. And this is clearly the season where they have to go all in. They have to figure out, could there be one more player to add? But like Lou said, I don't know if that type of guy is out there. And they are so top heavy. Rotations do shrink come playoff time.
I mean, the buyout market, maybe there'll be something. Maybe.
There's always somebody that's going to come up that they can use on that bench.
All right, you mentioned Embiid. We'll get to that game now. Sixers, Warriors. Warriors got a win, so there's the silver lining, 119-107. Embiid was returning from the 2 games he missed, and you didn't have Tyrese Maxey. But Steph, 37, 8 and 7. Kuminga, 26, 7 and 2. Embiid did have 14, 7 and 2, but 8 turnovers in 30 minutes. And as you guys mentioned, left the game in the 4th quarter. This is obviously going to be the story from this game. Sorry, Warriors. But another injury in the 4th, Shams. How bad is it?
Joel Embiid will be getting an MRI on that knee. It has to be concerning, especially because that's the same left knee he's been battling soreness with. The Sixers and Nick Nurse both claimed that this was not related to that soreness that he's been dealing with. This is a different injury. Of course, we see right there, Jonathan Kuminga lands on the knee. It's a different type of situation, injury. This wasn't something that was building. But again, you saw him play last night. It didn't look all night like he was himself, whether that's 2 games off, whether that's still that knee. He's 5 games away from, missed games away from being ineligible for the MVP award. His goal all throughout the season, he's had a couple, is try to compete for a championship. And 2, the thing that helps him get there is being healthy going into the playoffs. And we're already about the All-Star break coming up here, and he might be ineligible for the MVP. He's had a couple different injury situations. You have the knee, you have the ankle, and how he manages it. He's been trying, but now once the MRI comes, we're going to get a much better sense at a timetable.
Yeah, so the 5 missed games, that's all he's left. I feel like we're going to hit that. Like, he's going to be ineligible according to the new rules. It feels like it. Look, there could be a miracle, but I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that's what's happening. And he didn't look 100% like himself. And I know we've talked about that the rule is stupid, but it is still in place. So how are you supposed to handle these types of moments? Do you just have to say, oh, well, I guess I won't be MVP?
Yeah, this is the issue with this rule that we kind of just touched on this subject before, but he tried to play. And no doubt in my mind, if this 65-game minimum wasn't the threshold, Joel Embiid doesn't play last night. You could tell just the way he was moving. He wasn't running like he usually runs. He had no pop. He had no energy. He was not the same dominating guy that he's been. And you can see he was basically limping out there, and he was only doing that because of this. So now if I'm the team, if I'm his agent, I'm saying, okay, listen, I know there's bonuses that you get from your endorsements from winning these awards. I know you want to be the MVP again, which he should be, but he's going to be judged off the postseason. He's going to be judged off winning a championship, and that's when they need him the most. So if I had any advice for him, let it go. Don't play the game. Get healthy as you can, because things like this are going to happen. Thank God that injury doesn't look serious. It just looks like he kind of hyperextended it. I don't think it's going to be anything structural after seeing that replay. He's probably in some severe pain. But it's not worth it. The MVP, everyone knows you're one of the best players. Everyone knows you're an All-NBA caliber team. You're going to get judged off the postseason and wins in the postseason. So let this go and get healthy, because your team is nothing without you.
I think this rule is one and done. I think we get this rule out of here because it's going to backfire. You know, I think this puts the NBA at a disadvantage when it comes to this rule. You know, if this guy doesn't qualify for the MVP, these fans are going to go absolutely insane because they know that he's supposed to be in that conversation. And they're watching these games. These are actual injuries. You know, this is not him just taking a break. This actually changes the narrative of the Denver game. He's really going through an issue that's been reoccurring for him in his career. And so for him to have the season that he's having and having to miss games based on a legitimate injury, this is going to backfire on the NBA.
Yeah, you can safe to say he's not ducking Jokic. This guy is hurt. He's banged up. And again, on the flip side, now let's say SGA does play these minimum number of games.
Right.
Still not going to feel awesome when some Embiid played 62 and he doesn't even get to qualify. It's almost janky and taken away from his actual.
Look like a genius, though.
You know what I mean? It's almost taken away. Is he the MVP, or is he just the MVP because Joel played 62 games? You know what I mean? There's too many gray areas of this award, and I hope he's not seriously hurt, because that would make this rule look even dumber.
Yeah, I don't know, one and done. Maybe they tweak it, but there's a lot of tweaking. It would have to be a lot of tweaking, and I have no idea how that would work. Before the game last night, Steve Kerr mentioned his new starting lineup. Kuminga will be a part of that moving forward, of course. And he looks like he's stepping things up. Shams, what has impressed you the most about that?
20 points in the last 7 games or more, and he scored double digits in the last 24. I mean, you look at his averages, 25 points a game over the last 7. He's efficient. He's getting to his spots. His usage rating was in the 20s last night. You see him get more opportunities, taking advantage of it. Listen, we've spoken about it. He's the future of the Warriors. We're seeing it now. We're seeing how much of a focal point he's going to be. Finally, he's been given that opportunity. And another thing is Draymond Green's return. They've been so stringent in terms of not wanting to play Andrew Wiggins and Jonathan Kuminga together. They have not had success until Draymond Green's been back in the lineup. They've been playing small with Draymond Green at the 5, Wiggins and Kuminga at the wings. I'm curious from Lou and Chandler's perspective, do you think this is enough? Seeing what Andrew Wiggins and Jonathan Kuminga have done the last couple games, is that enough to say maybe these two have it? And what could Kuminga's ceiling really be?
Yeah, I think he's playing well, but this may have to be their best lineup. You know, you got to go with your 4 All-Stars and your young guy who's playing. He's turning the corner. You know, playing incredibly well. So if you're gonna put your best foot forward and give yourself an opportunity to try to push through all of this adversity, I think you put your best 5 on the floor now.
Yeah, I think this is smart, because this is their 5 best players, and this is their 5 most experienced players, and you can still develop the Podzinskis and the Trace Jacksons while they are coming off the bench and still playing 20-plus minutes. So kudos to Steve Kerr. He's gone through a tough stretch, a tough season here, and he's making now the proper adjustments. Whereas, say this doesn't work and they lose and they don't make the playoffs, at least he made the adjustments and tried everything possible to get the most out of this team. So I do like it. It's their best 5 players. Let it rip.
Let it ride. Shams, love you, mean it. And we will see you bright and early tomorrow. We're taking a quick break. When we come back, Luka and MJ in the same book.
Cap.
Talk about it.
Cappuccino.
Cap.
Run it back, run it up, run it back, run it up, run it back, run it up, run it back.
It's never too early for lists. I love them. They're amazing. The power rankings. You guys are sort of splitting the duties on this, and we'll start at 10 and knock it out. So, Chandler, you're kicking this thing off.
Yeah, okay, at 10, the Cleveland Cavaliers. They're finally healthy. I think they have a chance to really rise on these rankings and get in that 5-6 range. I think this is the team we expected to be start off this season after a first-round exit to the Knicks last year. They're finally healthy. They got Garland back. They got Mobley back. They're on one of the hotter teams, them and the Knicks, who unfortunately we left off this.
How did you leave the Knicks?
They were 11th. There's not enough room on the screen.
The Knicks have won 8 in a row.
Right.
Cavs have only won 2 in a row.
It's like the Orlando Magic in the beginning of the season power rankings when they were like 11-4. It's like, do we really think they were 11? Like that team. Same thing with the Knicks. I think they're on the rise. I think they can make it in here, but for now we got the Cleveland Cavaliers at the 10 spot with a chance potential to go up.
All right.
At number 9, I'm going with the Sacramento Kings, sitting at 5th place in the West. Just middle of the pack team right now. Hadn't really set themselves apart from the team that they were in these past couple of seasons. And so with that, the 8 teams that are ahead of them, I don't think they're better, so I got them going at 9.
Kings have put 4 in a row together. Not bad, not bad.
Okay, at 8, we have Phoenix Suns, another team that I think is going to continue to get better. When they're healthy, that big 3 is rolling. They're going to be a team to beat in the Western Conference. Between them, the Clippers, the Nuggets, I think those are the most poised, experienced, vet teams. You have teams like the Thunder in Minnesota that have great starts, but this team is going to be scary come postseason. There's 7 games over 500, and I think that's going to continue to get better and better.
I think this is a team, by the next time we do this, they're definitely top 5 in a power
what I was
rankings,
gonna ask.
and they start get going. But right now, at present date, I think this is appropriate. So at number 7, I'm gonna go with the Oklahoma City Thunder. Even though they're sitting 1 game out of the 1 spot, I still feel like this is one of the teams that's still inexperienced when it comes to the playoffs, when it's gonna come to a deep playoff run, and I think that's gonna bite them in the ass when it comes at the time that matters. So
Can I say it?
they can't. Yeah, they can't crack the top 5 for me right now. So I got the Thunder at 7. Even though they're having a hell of a season,
They are.
I expect them to do a lot of work, but I think their inexperience catches up.
Yeah, there's just something about obviously this team, and it's probably the youth of this team that we don't trust. We don't
Not
trust,
yet.
but they are the brightest future, obviously, in the NBA.
Well, could they be disruptors? I mean, it just takes one.
I think so, and I think they're going to add some size there to help Chet to move him to the 4. But this is an exciting team, and they have a bright, bright future.
All right.
Now, up to 7th,
Yeah, we'll get
at
serious.
6 is Philadelphia 76ers. I'm pretty sure we told Conrad we wanted him 7th, or the Thunder
I don't
6th.
think you did.
Not a big deal,
I don't
Conrad.
think you did.
But we'll run with
did
it.
not.
Now, the Sixers, this team scares me a little bit. With Joel going down, with this threshold that he's going to continue to try and play.
Maxey being in and out.
Maxey being in and out of the lineup, I can see this team sliding a bit, and that's not good. But for them to have a chance, they need fully healthy. They need Tobias Harris, Kelly Oubre, need guys like that to really step up and play well. So they're at 6 right now, but I do see them. I see all those teams that are 7, 8, 9, 10 kind of leapfrogging them.
Wow, that's actually a big statement. But I agree.
Definitely can agree with Chandler there. At number 5, I am going with the defending champion
5.
Denver Nuggets. I just feel like this team, they're top 5, but I feel like they're cruising right now. They've seen what it takes. They know what it takes to be successful and get to where they need to go. So I just feel like they're not putting a lot of pressure on these teams out here. They're still getting quality wins, but I still feel like their energy, they're just cruising through the regular season, trying to get to the postseason, and that's when they'll turn that knob. So I got them sitting at 5.
Whoa.
At number 4, we have the Milwaukee Bucks. And this is another team, to me, it's like a Philly where they're scary. They can go one of 2 ways. They can really take off now with Doc Rivers, where they can figure out their defensive schemes, their coverages. Their offense is always going to be potent. Their offense is always going to be elite. But this team is going to be one of the teams that's there at the end of the Eastern Conference. They're going to have to battle it out with the Celtics or the Sixers. I think that.
I feel like we're taking for granted that it's going to be Sixers and Bucks in the end. Like,
Well,
I wonder.
do you think the Knicks or the Cavs are really going to?
I mean, it's hard to tell, but right now they just seem to be
I
having
don't think I
fun.
said that. I like Celtics Bucks.
Yeah,
I'm up.
I like
Okay, go ahead.
Celtics Bucks.
We'll see. Maybe we should place a bet on it.
Yeah, I think this team, I think they have a chance to continue to get better. They're healthy now. Guys like Jay Crowder, Pat Connaughton, they're going to really have to defend and continue to, play well on that side of the ball. So I see them kind of sticking right here. I do think they'll end up finishing 2nd in the Eastern Conference.
I think them sitting at 4 is based strictly on what the potential of what that team can be. So I think they deserve to be right there in 4. Number 3, I'm going with the T-Wolves. Sitting number 1 in the West, playing really good basketball. You got to give this young team a lot of credit, man. With Anthony Edwards, Cat playing well, Rudy Gobert having an opportunity to be Defensive Player of the Year again. This is a team that's playing really well. They're actual contenders. I'm still giving them the inexperienced card as well as the Thunder, even though they're 2 or 3 spots behind them, because I think just with the Eastern Conference, you got to factor them in as well. But I think they have the same problem as the Thunder. A lot of postseason inexperience, but I still got them at number 3.
Yeah, I gotta say, this is a team that I didn't see this happening. I thought they was fool's gold a little bit. I thought they were gonna kind of tinker off, but this team can defend. This team's great at home. They're 17-4 at home. They get home court advantage. I can see them advancing, and they're a real threat. They have size, they have defense, they have an absolute star in Anthony Edwards, and Karl-Anthony Towns has shown he can still go get you 60 on any given night in a loss.
In a loss.
Okay. Okay, now we're down to the nitty-gritty here, Michelle.
Oh, yes.
Now we're
It's
down
real.
to the nitty-gritty. I preferably would have probably flipped these two again, not to throw anybody under the bus, but I think the Celtics, I think they're the best team in the NBA, but we got them at 2 right now. They did just lose by 19 to who we have at 1, but I think this is the most poised team. I think this is the best duo in the NBA. Everyone knows the depth. They're a little thin, but when they're healthy and they have Porzingis playing at the level he's playing, Drew Holiday has been a game changer for them. I think this is just their chance. I think this is their year. I think they will be the NBA champions this year. But right now,
Really?
we got them at 2.
I want to
Yeah,
bet
you
all
gotta
these
gotta
things.
respect them. Bench or no bench, this team is very consistent, and you just gotta go with them and not bet against them. So for my number 1 spot, it is obviously gonna be the Los Angeles Clippers. Sitting at 4th place in the West, but I don't think there's a team in the league that's playing better basketball than them right now. So when we talk about power rankings, when we talk about making a real run at a championship, this looks like the team that has all of the components. They can defend. They have they actually have 5 or 6 different guys that can put 20 on the board. They have depth. And the most important thing out of everything that Russell Westbrook has brought to the table for the team, they're having a ton of fun. It looks like they actually enjoy playing with each other and building and embracing the process of trying to put together a championship run. So I like the Clippers at number 1 right
I
now.
can't wait to get where my app works so I could put some money on that plus 700.
And to me, this is the one team that they really struggle on the road. So getting home court advantage, they're 11-11 on the road and they're 19-4 at home. So home court advantage is a huge, huge priority for this team. So I expect them to continue to play hard, continue to try and get as many wins as possible because they need home court advantage come playoff time.
If both sides are healthy, it's the best of 7. Celtics or Clippers, who are you taking?
Clips.
Yeah.
Celtics.
Interesting. I feel like
There
I'm
you
with
go.
Lou, weirdly enough. If you would have
Listen,
told me this months ago, no chance.
These 2 teams are actually both 2 places that I consider my second homes, but I like the Clippers right now. So.
All right, we'll keep an eye on
It'll be
it.
a hell of a series.
Quick break. When we come back, a little you buying that. Run it back.
Run it up, then run it back. Run it up, run it back. Run it up, then run it back.
You buying that? This was a big one yesterday, Chandler. Of course, I'm going to start with you because it involves the Mavs, Jason Kidd, Luka Doncic, and Dirk Nowitzki. Because J. Kidd said, and it was multiple times, by the way, in the same soundbite, that Luka Doncic is a better player than Nowitzki and in the same atmosphere as an MJ, LeBron, and Kobe. What do you think about that?
I'm not buying it, but
All right.
because listen, when you talk MJ and LeBron, they're in a different league of everybody else, in my opinion. And I love Kobe, I love all these other players, but putting Luka in that category is tough. Now, Dirk himself has been on record saying that Luka is a better player than him. Luka is a more talented player than him. And again, that's Dirk now retired, saying the right things. And this is Jason Kidd, who's
Can't say
backing his
that.
player, who's all he has this year, basically. So I'm not buying it, but if I'm Luka, man, do I love Jason Kidd, who's I also respect as a player, and who I also really loved growing up, saying this.
Man, hell no.
You ain't rolling?
No.
Not buying it.
How do we measure the greats, the MJs, the Kobes, and LeBrons? How do we measure them?
Championships?
Dirk Nowitzki has a championship in Dallas. So he's not the best player in that franchise. He's gonna be one.
He will be, though, I think, is the point.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
but today, it's Dirk Nowitzki. Give Dirk Nowitzki his flowers.
This guy's on street, for God's sakes.
He brought a championship to Dallas against a team that a lot of us didn't think they could beat, and they did it. And with Dirk Nowitzki with a chip on his shoulder, sick, and all of these other different things. And
Being mocked.
That is correct, being mocked, and that's the way that we measure the greats. That's what separates them from everybody else, is championships. Dirk Nowitzki has a championship. Luka will be one of the best players in Dallas Mavericks franchise history. Present date is still Dirk Nowitzki. It's the reason he has a street. It's the reason that his logo is on the
Street.
court.
Giant
I don't
No,
think
no,
he
I'm
will
not
be.
rolling.
I don't think he will be one of the best players. I think he's either first or second already. So
I agree.
So I think he's already there. and I think,
It's
and-
not another player I can think of off the top
yeah,
of my
the
head.
short sample size that he's given us with the
Roy
stats.
Tarpley?
With the short sample.
Okay.
Just throwing out maps.
Not to laugh at Roy Tarpley. But, all right.
Just
No, he's up there, and so I understand it, but again, he's got a lot of time to maybe go into this. But putting him with MJ,
By the
and
way-
Kobe, and LeBron, come on.
Would have been better if Dirk was like, no, he's not better than
Yeah,
me.
like what's Dirk gonna say?
Better
Nah, this kid
quote.
sucks.
He's not there yet.
Yeah.
Terry Rozier, as a new Miami guard, by the way, says losing in Miami feels different than losing in Charlotte. Quote, in Charlotte, you're kind of used to losing. It's in the DNA. Over here, it's the total
Sheesh.
opposite. Nobody
Shots
wants
fired.
to lose. Nobody is fine with it. Dang. Lou, you buying all that?
Yeah, I'm buying it. I think what he's trying to get across is culture.
Culture.
That the Miami Heat love to talk about. It's culture and mentality. I think when they lose games there, I think the first level of business is trying to figure out what went wrong and how to correct those things moving forward. And they feel like they have a template to being a successful organization. And so I think that's what he was trying to get across. And maybe Charlotte hadn't had the level of success that the Miami Heat has had at this point in franchise history. So they may not have that culture. And I think that's what he was getting across. So I'm buying.
All right, speaking of losing in Charlotte, down 25 to the Knicks on Monday night, LaMelo Ball was seen laughing with his teammates on the bench. That's probably what Terry Rozier was talking about right there. Are you buying that that's just a bad look?
It's an awful look. And this is what Lou just talked about, where when you are the best player and you're so young and there's no culture and there's no organization in this franchise, this is what you get. And you do get kind of numb to losing. And it just becomes a cycle where these teams, the Detroits, the Washingtons, they're so used to losing that they don't even care. They're going to go and live their life. They're going to go to dinner. They're going to go out that night. And it's just another game where they get the check and that's it. And maybe we're better next year. So I agree. It sucks. It's a shitty situation, but like that's the situation they're in right now. They're so used to losing and have the worst. They've created the worst habits where like that's just life there.
Down 25 too. That's a bad look. Snoop Dogg recently named his top 5 players in the NBA. He had Jokic, Embiid, Giannis, SGA, and Anthony Edwards. LeBron comes off the bench here. You buying that, Lou?
I like it. I like it. Listen, it's a lot of talented guys playing really good basketball right now. He only had 5 spots. He threw a Laker in there to give him a 6th man of the year, so that was cool. But you know, you can interchange Luka or Tatum with any of these guys. All of them are well deserving of being top 5 players, but you only get 5 spots. So I don't think Snoop missed the mark here. I'm buying.
Yeah, he's not way off. I would probably, and I love Anthony Edwards, I'd probably change him for Tatum, for Luka, for Steph Curry. But I mean, that 5 right there is pretty nasty.
Yeah, I don't think you can lose with that 5. Charles Barkley recently said that Jalen Brunson has made the Knicks relevant for the first time since Patrick Ewing.
Cap.
Buying that?
Cap.
Wow.
Big old cap.
Okay, go
No,
on.
I mean, do you remember those Melo, Amari Stoudemire? Those teams were
What?
dead
Yes.
nice. Also, let's not forget about Lynn Sanity. That was the most poppin' the
Lynn
Garden has ever
Sanity.
been, but they weren't good. But the
they were
Garden
relevant.
was buzzing.
Right.
They were relevant. Everyone was talking about the Knicks. But no, those J.R. Smith, Amari Stoudemire.
We were in the league when this was happening.
Yeah, they were.
We hated to go to the Garden.
They were tough. They were nasty. They were always on national TV. Carmelo Anthony was an absolute problem. I love Jalen Brunson. I love everything they're doing here. I love the trade for OG. But no, they've had their fair share of momentum and you know highlights.
But there's definitely been a big break in between. Like,
There's definitely been a big break, but it's again back in the
hadn't
day
been-
when we had to go to the Garden. It wasn't an easy.
It wasn't a Patrick Ewing break.
No.
No. That's a really long break. Joe Mazzulla came up with a nickname for Jaylen Brown and Kristaps Porzingis. Lou, it's cookies and cream. Oh, take it away. You buying that?
This is racist.
It is racist. What are they? Salt and pepper next? What are they? Salt and pepper?
It sounds
Chocolate and
like-
vanilla?
What is
Just
that?
call them black and white at this point.
Cookies and cream?
Yeah.
Not rolling, coach.
No.
Let's
But
get-
this
let's get
guy, he's
this-
a quirky guy. Though.
What is
He's
he?
trying to be
on
He is
the
weird.
room floor.
He's weird.
He's the one that watches the movie like
I am
every 5
not
minutes.
buying it.
His interview yesterday had me cringing earlier.
It was a little
about
nerdy.
How hard they play it.
Do you
Damn.
think that Jaylen Brown likes this nickname? I don't think he does.
If I'm a gambling man, which I am,
You are.
I would bet that
Yeah.
he's not very excited about being the,
don't think
the
this
cookies of
sticks.
this mix.
I don't think it sticks.
No, and it's
It can't stick.
All right, we're not buying. Nobody's buying that. Kevin Durant says he does not want a video tribute when he returns to Brooklyn tonight to face the Nets because his body of work there just isn't big enough. You buying that he should not get a video?
I don't think he should. I don't think he was there long enough, which is what KD's saying.
Yeah.
I still think they'll do it because he was basically their best player. He did recruit those guys there. He did a lot more than Kyrie and James Harden did, but.
Fair. And they told him not to.
But
He
he-
said not to. So I
Yeah,
would do it.
but yeah, the fact that he said don't do it, I would 1,000% do it.
Do it.
But I'm also very petty. But no, he's a Hall of Fame player. They want to show their respect. They're probably going to do it, I would imagine.
I would think so too. Make it really cheesy too, just to make everyone uncomfortable. I'm in.
Should just make it bloopers.
Yeah.
That's a great idea. Okay, Lou's got the best idea. Devin Booker and Giannis were players of the week last week, which was also the same week in which we had 70 points, Embiid and Luka. And I'm thinking they should have had it more. Are you buying this, Lou?
I'm not buying. I think they may have got this wrong.
Okay.
Devin Booker did average 50 on the week, which is nothing to sniff your nose at. But Luka had a triple-double almost with his his 70, and Embiid got the 70-point party kicked off with his 72, I believe it was, and I think both of those guys deserve it. So I'm not buying. I'm not even sure what Giannis did that week. I'm sure it was great considering.
He got a coach fired.
Yeah, I think they just won the games, I guess. Again, imagine having 70-plus points and not winning.
I can't imagine it.
Player of the
actually.
week, yeah.
What else do we need
I'm
to
not
do?
buying this. You can throw Luka or Embiid in there.
I'm buying Devin just because I don't
That's
care
fine.
about the way he literally averaged 50 points in a week.
So with Devin averaging 50,
then I'd put
that
him.
eliminates Luka.
Yeah, so then I'd put it.
So I'm putting Embiid in
Yeah.
for Giannis. So yeah,
I agree.
I'm not.
I would go
Fixed.
Joel and Devin there.
Chandler Grant Hill said that he left Draymond Green off the Team USA 41-man pool because of the on-court issues this season. You buying that? He shouldn't be on the
No,
team?
I mean I don't think that'd help. But also, he's not a top 50 player in the NBA. Why would he be on the Team USA, where this is the best, 12 to 15, whatever it is, guys?
But he's not even on the 41. Like, that hurts a little
Well, he's
bit.
not a top 41 player in the NBA.
Fair
I don't think he missed here. I also think the antics and the behavior off the court definitely didn't help putting on that USA jersey. It's more than just basketball, more than your talent. But now there's so many talented guys now in the NBA that have kind of surpassed Draymond. He has done a lot for Team USA. He's done a lot in his career. He's a Hall of Fame career. But right now, at this stature of his career, I don't disagree.
I mean, when I think USA, I don't think about violence, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's really.
We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to wrap up some Run It Back right here on FanDuel TV. What? You should...
Run it up, the running back, yeah. Run it up, run it back, run it up, run it back, run it up.
Oh, I miss these. Fitter break, and we got some good ones today. We will start with
Oh
Tyler
no,
Hero.
he didn't.
He looks weird.
What is that?
An astronaut. An
These guys are getting
astronaut.
outrageous with these outfits.
It looks like he's trying to lose weight real quick in a sweatbox.
Is this in Miami too? 'Cause
Oh, there's Pharrell.
I like this fit.
this
Okay.
ain't bad.
I thought it was
That's
gonna
not
be
what I was
much worse.
expecting. I was expecting him to be
mean,
wearing what Tyler Hero had on.
Can we pan
like
left?
this
That might be the one. That red thing
Yeah.
might be something.
Give me
I
fit,
don't know.
yeah.
Jared
Give me
Vanderbilt.
her
Oh,
too.
no leather.
I feel like we've seen this one before.
It's kind of the nerd. Well, Halliburton does some nerd stuff too a lot.
I like pieces of this, but not together. You know
I
what I
like the
mean?
bag.
I like the
And the sweater.
bag. That hat ain't nah.
All right.
I like this.
Okay.
This is
Yeah.
fine.
cool. Malik Monk.
Monk's
Six
the
man of
baggy
year.
pants.
This is a
Great
fit.
color. Pops.
I like
that.
this one.
All right. James.
You know what? I actually like
No,
this.
you don't.
I'm a comfort guy.
We'll stop.
These
That's expensive
these
comfort.
jammy jams.
How much do
look
those
cool to
chains
me.
cost up top?
He does look
There's
comfortable.
a couple of little middle class cribs.
Is that Debo?
Yeah, we got Debo.
Oh, that's awesome.
Michelle knows
Inside
Debo,
joke.
but not what no cap means.
I knew what no cap meant. I didn't know what standing on your business meant.
Inside joke. That's DeMar's nickname, Debo.
It's a great shirt. That's a good outfit. All right.
Term
SG.
of the- okay.
This
He's
kid
like,
just gets it.
he's a
Yeah, he
model.
gets- yeah, he
I'm
gets
sorry.
it.
He's just a model.
I think he has a personal photographer. There's no way
Yeah,
this is the team.
and where is he?
There's no way this is the
that's
team
not the LeBron
photo.
I thought we were going to get.
This is
Miss
You thought you were
Sylvie.
gonna
I'm
get the
okay with
leather,
this
the
LeBron.
Louis Vuitton pants?
That does it for us.
Fit.
Those are, yeah, we can do those next week. See you tomorrow.
That was a brick, by the way.
Run it up, the running back, run it up, run it back, run it up.